How are you? Is this Mr. Vrilock himself?
Yeah, the one and only. You could
Oh,
just
well,
call me Tom.
I can call you. I could just call you Tom. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's an honor to be here, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to show myself and to talk about a few things. I appreciate it. Thank you. I've been following you for a few years.
Oh, so that's you that's in the car behind me. I was wondering who was tailgating me. That was you. You've
Yeah,
been doing
watch out.
3 years.
Yeah,
Tailgating.
watch it.
Okay.
I, I just told on myself. I just told on myself. But yeah, I've been following you, and I thank you for having me. Let me have this opportunity.
Hey, well, no, I'm thrilled. The honor is mine. I mean, this is really wonderful. So, Barbara, just so everyone knows, I mean, I'm introducing the one and only Barbara Evans, the lovely voice, the jazz singer, and you were born in North Florida, but you lived in Italy for 14 years. 14 years.
Actually, I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, but then I moved to Florida when my family decided to leave Jersey for some reason, and I grew up in Florida, so I consider myself a Floridian. And of course, my family doesn't consider themselves Floridian because Jersey this, Jersey that. But we've been in Florida for over 40 years, so and yeah, so and I lived in Europe for 17 years, and I had the pleasure of living in Italy for 14 years. I paid taxes and everything in Italy.
Yeah, and you were just recently in Italy for quite a stretch. How was your adventure in the land of Renaissance, fine whining, dining, music, and art and romance?
Well, I'll tell you what, I ate everything, I drank everything, I danced everything. I I saw all my friends. I mean, because coming out of what the whole world situation that we just came out of, or that we're still coming out of. And Italy got hit pretty hard, so it was a little intense, kind of talking to my friends over that period of time. So whenever we got to see each other now, we just said, "Hey, we're gonna do it all," and that's what we did. And the Italians, since they don't know if they're gonna have another situation at the end of this year or in the autumn, they just said they're gonna do everything. Whatever festival that they were supposed to do later on in the year, they're gonna do it now. Or whatever party they were supposed to do, they're gonna do everything. So they did everything, and I participated in everything. I tell you,
That
fun.
sounds wonderful. So you're referring to like the COVID lockdowns and that sort of thing, like the quarantines?
Oh, oh, can we say that?
I think so. Uh, why? Well, I don't know. I mean, you mean does AI scan those words on YouTube? Yes, they do.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I mean, don't do a Q&A check, but no, you can still mention it. So no, I was going to ask about that because I think that's what you're referring to. I had a friend of mine whose friend was stuck in Europe. He's an artist for NASA. He was stuck
Yeah.
in Europe, and everybody was, at first laughing that he was going to be stuck in the airport for like who knows how many weeks or something, right? So we did a big miraculous manifestation to get him back. All right, I went to work on that right away. He got back and in flying colors, everything's fine. He's fine. But it
Oh,
was this situation when that first happened. I remember eating out of like canned food for like some weeks, just like going, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world" and all that. Yeah, so I'm glad you had a great time in Italy and you made
yes.
some friends. Yeah, nice. So now you're not only a jazz singer, but you're now dabbling into tarot. And so I was going to ask you about is tarot an art which you feel resonates with your musical talents, or is this a new development, perhaps a mystical other side to Barbara we didn't know was always there?
I think it was always there. It was always there. Well, let's just say, let's go back to the singing. I started singing a long time ago in church, like a lot of people do. And I was always fascinated with like mystical things.
Mm-hmm.
And since my grandfather, I think I could say this on camera with my, I don't know if my family's going to see this video or not, but they will sooner or later. But my grandfather was like an American Indian type shaman type
Oh wow.
person. And people used to come to the house to get healed. And I thought that was absolutely amazing. It was fascinating. I wanted to learn how to do that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then you have all types of dreams and flashes. And now those fast forward to today. You know, when you're on stage, you just think about music and singing and bringing happiness to people and smiles and everything like that. But you know what they say, everybody has a public life and a private life, and then everybody has a secret life. So
Uh,
so the
wow.
secret life, the tarot has become a part of it. I'm just at the beginning. But I'm not at the beginning of my intuition though. My intuition has always been there and on point, but I'm just getting into tarot. So I think it kind of amalgamates together music, tarot, art, the
Yeah,
mystical.
I think so too. Like, well, I found like music sort of like it's like a medium which produces, unlike a lot of other arts, it produces an instant resonance between people, in the environment. Like, I mean, animals, they get it instantly. Like if you're sitting around home playing the guitar or the piano, they get what you're doing, they understand it, they feel it. And so it's like, I was thinking, there's that, I don't know if you've ever seen the Harry Potter films. Uh, there was a
I've
Professor
heard of them.
Dumbledore's, yeah, Professor Dumbledore's explaining to Mr. Potter that words are this inexhaustible source of magic. And so I was thinking about that, and I thought about your music, and I was thinking, I might even conjecture that when music is put to words, or when words are not merely uttered, but when we're singing these words, there's a coherency in the way the words resonate with us, and it's something more than logic can explain. Like, because a lot of the mystical arts are really the occult logic based stuff. It's more as if we know instinctively the experiences or the feelings, of a song, and what that's speaking to us. Do you feel that music is indeed, I don't know, magical? Would you say that?
Music does work magic.
Okay.
Music does work magic, and music is magic because it is magical. I mean, from a personal experience, when I'm on the stage and I could sing a certain song, and I don't even know anybody in the audience, and I could provoke an emotion out of
Yeah.
them. I think that's magical. I mean, that's like a magical Wi-Fi that we have.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is definitely something moving through the air in the environment, like when we're at a concert or going to different gigs. I've gone to, like, there was some wonderful uh, cafes and bars in San Juan Capistrano, and they would have live jazz music. Comedians would perform there, and you can definitely feel something in the air that is, I don't know. It's hard to put to words what it really is, but I think it's instant. Is really was what I was getting at. Is it's like an instant energy feeling. You identify with it quickly, whereas with words are, of course, they're just words.
Yeah, it's it's like, well, it is magical, like we say, but it's something. It's an energy.
Mm.
It's a magical energy that fills a room or fills a stadium, or even if you don't have a big room of people, it could be just like three people. And what comes from, it's almost like an exchange of energy. Like, for example, when I'm on a stage, And if I'm on the stage and I see a lot of people like crossing their arms and sitting back like that and not giving me any energy, it's almost like I don't really get any energy. But
Oh,
magically, if there's that even exchange, if I'm out there and I'm singing that song and I'm getting it and I have the people all riled up and they come back and they give me more energy and I get it's a magical feeling. It really is. It's awesome. It really is amazing how it works. And there's certain situations where people are like, sitting up in the hospital and they're really in a detrimental situation, and then you put the headphones on them and they come back. It's like that's really I'm very fortunate to be doing this job. I really am. So I do think there's a big connection between music and magic, or it's the same thing. What would you
yeah.
say?
Well, I'd
Music
say
and
that
magic.
all of this art, science, music, magic, all of it comes from human expression. So I'd say I personally think it's all interconnected. Just out of curiosity, have you ever done any like musical healing sessions? Like you mentioned the hospital, so I was just curious if you've ever done any like events where you go out and you sing and it's like a healing experience for people. Is that something that you've done?
You know what? I haven't done that yet. I have some colleagues that have done that, and they do that. And I always wondered how different that would be than to be on a stage and just provoke an emotion out of someone, and
Yeah.
then go directly to a place and do it on purpose. Do it purposely. You go there with the intent of healing people with music, or healing people with some type of song or something like that. But no, I
Yeah.
haven't done it. But hey,
Yeah.
you just gave me another idea.
Well, I mean, I think in like some churches, we can have those kinds of experiences in church when there's a church sing along. Uh, but I mean, that it even goes back to like ancient times, like in the northern traditions, they had all these beautiful line drawings that were like maps of the cosmos, and they were actually the people who lived back then knew how to sing by looking at these patterns. I believe they're called Galdor staves,
Hmm.
but that just basically Galdor staves. It basically meant song, and interestingly, it was that knowledge was kept by the women in the tribes back then, where it was divided between. They had the rune knowledge, and then they had the Galdor knowledge in the ancient northern tradition. So I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting side thought that they
Yeah,
had
that's kind
music
of deep.
healings back then. Yeah,
That's very deep, very deep.
yeah. Hey, you know what, Barbara? We had something else in common. I remember when I was last talking to you, you said you're a coast to coast listener, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, that's something we had in common, and I was thinking, man, I have like an out of this world story. Should you care to hear it? But I don't know. How about you? What brought you to Caravan with all the coast listeners? Like, what got you into that? Was it the Art Bell show, or did you find Coast like on? Was it the George Norrie show, Joshua Warren, or how did you
You
find them?
know, right now I can't remember how I came into contact with Coast to Coast. I think it was a friend of mine that's a musician, saxophone player. He's from Canada. And I think he was the one that told me about Coast to Coast. So I started listening to Coast to Coast, and Art Bell wasn't on there anymore. I mean, you can see his archives, but I enjoyed listening to George Norrie. He's kind of funny. I love George Norrie.
Yeah.
And then through George Norrie, I got to listen to Joshua P. Warren.
Mm.
And then from Joshua P. Warren, I started listening to, because Joshua was talking about the radionics.
Oh
I know that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I said, oh my gosh, what's this radionics and psionics? So I looked at he had like three 2 hour long videos talking about radionics and explaining it. So I got to listening to that. And then when I started listening to getting into radionics, I started listening to Charles Cosmano, you know? So
Yeah.
Charles Casimano, ooh, everybody's like, ooh, Charles Casimano is like intimidating. So I started looking at all of his videos. Oh my gosh, he is so funny. He cracks me up so much. He cracks me up. So I started listening to Charles Casimano, and then that's how I got in touch with Brad, Dr. Mulder, and I started following a guy called a guy called Tomvrilock.
Oh yeah, that character.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And when I saw him, I was like, well, hey, this is it. So that's how I got into it. I mean, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, I kind of spaced out a second there too. No, I was asking about how you found Coast to Coast and what brought you there to listen to that, because people come and listen to that radio show for all different kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
They are transitioning into podcasting now because podcasting has become very big. Like it's almost bigger than radio now. It might even be bigger than radio. So they were smart to transition into that. Like a lot of businesses, like what was the one that I was thinking that was on the tip of my mind there, where they failed to transition into the changing times, but it was a great company. Um, I might remember it later, but basically, uh, Coast to Coast understood that podcasting was becoming so popular, they needed to get into it. And so it's a big market right now. The cost of placing an ad on like iHeartRadio's, Joshua P. Warren does the Strange Things show.
Yeah, I
It,
listened to that.
it's pricey, it's expensive to get an ad on there. So it's a big deal, big deal.
Yeah, it is. Joshua, he's on there. He's been on there for a while, right?
Yeah, I was on his show a couple of times on his
Oh,
podcast. I
hey, I got to
think,
go back and listen to that. I have to go back and listen to it.
yeah, it's one where we did an experiment to see if, there's a game in Nevada called Craps, and he was going to go there and see if he could beat me at a tournament, but we were going to do it remotely. And my job was to make the dice land on the opposite color he was choosing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think mine was going to be green. His was going to, no, wait, mine was going to be black to go with the character that I always illustrate. And his was going to be red.
Good.
I think it ended up landing on green. So it was a tie.
I'm glad to hear that worked out for you.
Oh, we made a big funny show about it. It was hilarious. Yeah. He does that stuff.
Oh, hold on, my light. Something happened
Yeah.
to my light there. I'll just do that.
Lux, fiat, lux. Let there be light. Um, yeah, so I found Coast to Coast in a very bizarre way. It was
Huh.
actually, we were driving in Costa Mesa one day, my wife and I, and we saw a disc going across, and we thought it was a blimp at first, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a flying frisbee, like a saucer, and it was reflecting the sunlight. So we thought that's a really weird aerial phenomenon right there. And so I went home that same night, and I was messing around with my radio, and I heard this voice, and it turned out to be Art Bell, and
Oh,
he was talking about UFOs and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's how I found it. It was just an interesting coincidence that same day. So, and
Art
it turned
Bell.
out there were a lot of people asking questions about it, about flying saucers and so on. Yeah.
Was it a real flying saucer?
It looked like one to me. The odd thing is my wife and I were looking at this at an intersection. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We looked around, we're waving at people like, hey, look up there, look at that. And everybody seemed to be like in a zone, like kind of just zoned out, staring straight ahead. Of course, they might have been thinking this crazy guy's trying to, wave at us, in the car next to us. But yeah, as far as I could tell, it looked like a flying saucer.
Well, that's
Uh,
really odd because I had an experience like that on Miami Beach. I was walking with a friend of mine, and we were walking south Can you see me still, Tom? Because my ring light just went out, so I don't know
I can.
if I don't know why, but anyway, if you can still see me, I'll keep it like that.
I've got you.
Okay. So we were walking south on South Beach or Miami Beach, and there was this light that was just suspended in air. I mean, for like minutes. We were thinking, oh, that's a helicopter, that's an airplane, because a lot of airplanes fly in and out of Miami Beach. And it just sat there. I mean, just for minutes at a time. And everybody was just walking back and forth, and nobody ever noticed. It seemed like they were in a zone, like you said, like they was just zoned out. Until we finally woke up, like this German family that was walking towards us. So they had it, the light was in back of them. And we kind of like said, hey, do you see that? I mean, that light's just suspended in air. It's been like that for a few minutes. What do you think it is? And they woke up. It seems like they actually like woke up and said, oh, yes, what is that? And that type of thing. And it seemed like everybody was zoned out. It was really weird. So we
Oh,
all
wow.
stood there, and that white light just kind of started slowly moving across the beach and coming towards us across the beach. And I swear, it made no noise. And at a certain point, it there was the light. It wasn't a light anymore. It was like an airplane with no tail. It was like the head of an airplane, the wings, and
Yeah.
then flat back. No
Oh,
noise, no
wow.
nothing. And we were all standing there flabbergasted with our mouths open. Like, so anyway, hey, that stuff I think is real. Do you think it's real?
Wait, you sure it wasn't Elon Musk?
Hey,
I just.
that guy's everywhere, isn't he? That guy is everywhere.
Yeah, he does. It's wonderful some of the things he can do. Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, well, we don't know what it is. Obviously, we're seeing something. Um, Nobody's ever landed and walked out and said, "Hi, we're from, the planet Nanu Nanu," or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, not
But
that we know of. Not that we
not
know of,
not
right?
that, not in my case.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen a
Hey,
few.
you wanna throw some cards on that? Want to see what the cards say about that?
Hey, you know what? That's a fabulous idea. Let's do that.
Okay.
Um,
So
you want to ask a question like, are we being visited by beings from another planet?
are we being visited by beings from another planet? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can see my cards here. I'm gonna put
Like,
them spread out here.
okay, then you might want to tilt your phone slightly.
Can you see? Let's see. That
Yeah.
makes gives me a little
Okay.
more space.
I can see it.
Okay. We're gonna just ask Spirit if we are being visited. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Are we being visited by beings from another planet?
Are we being visited by beings from another planet?
Yeah. I think that's the question like everybody would want to know.
Let's see. See what the cards have to say about it. Okay. This is the first card. The first card represents, are we being visited? Are we being visited? And this is the Hierophant. The Hierophant comes up. And the Hierophant is like, it could mean several things. It could mean like a teacher. It could mean a pope. It could mean someone that teaches. It could mean an old spirit. So this represents if we are being visited, the Hierophant. So let me just move forward. I mean, this represents the object. If we are being if the beings, let's say this. So, and the second card would represent if we're being visited, and this is the Wheel of Fortune.
Whoa, that is so
This
coincidental. Looks
this
like a
is
flying
like,
saucer.
huh?
It looks like a flying saucer.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it. Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, I can see it.
And if the Wheel of Fortune is usually a yes card. So let's put it right here. I don't know if you can see that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Now the past is the lovers. Now the lovers doesn't actually mean lovers. It can mean a union. It can be a choice. It can mean that in the past we have had it happen in the past. We have been visited in the past because this is a union. You see, the man and the woman is like Adam and Eve. They're
Yeah.
united. So that in the
Right.
past, that shows me that the cards say that we have been visited in the past, because this is the past card. All right, let's look at the present
That would
current
explain
situation.
who's been getting into my refrigerator. Who's been going in the refrigerator at night. We've been being visited. Now go on. Don't mind me. Listen to me.
This is the present. The present is the King of Wands. Now, excuse me. Yeah, the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands means something that's actually occurring. And you see him on this horse and he's galloping. That means that's something that's in action, something that's actually occurring. So it looks like something that's happening like right now. This is the current situation.
Hmm.
All right. So far, it looks like we have been visited. Now let's look at the near future as far as us being visited by. This is the Seven of Pentacles. You see that farmer? He's looking at
Yeah.
his leaves. He's looking at his leaves with desire. He's like waiting for his leaves to turn into money or to turn into corn or whatever. So that means
Hmm.
that there's a lot of people that's waiting for that type of situation to happen.
That
I don't
makes
know.
sense.
I don't know if you can see it, but by these cards here, we have the Hierophant here. We have the Wheel of Fortune and the Lovers. So far, it looks like the cards are saying that we have been visited. And as you said, this is like a flying. So I'm going to pull a couple more cards. All right, we have the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords. Okay, let me pull a couple more just to clarify. Okay, we have the Two of Cups. See the Two of Cups? See these two people?
Yeah.
Looks like they're exchanging cups. So it's like an agreement card. Looks like someone that's agreeing or doing something with each other. And this card is the Eight of Wands. And that gives more credence to this card here. So that means that there's some type of, like I said, you see this one in the past, this is an agreement. You see these two people? You see these two people here? It looks like there has been actually either an agreement or it has actually been done. So that means that the card in the past already gives me the indication that it has happened. And the Two of Cups and the Eight of Wands, you see that the Eight of Wands are just like looks like wands is flying in the air, this forceful, something coming towards you.
Yeah.
That means, brother, we have probably been visited, and people are desperately waiting for it to happen again.
Oh, like it might indicate the potential for a disclosure then.
The potential for disclosure, I don't see it in these cards because I asked the question, have we been visited?
Okay.
And it has given me that. But we can pull cards to see if there's going to be a disclosure.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, we still have time. We still have time. We've only been talking for about 27 minutes. Let's try that.
hey, it looks like
So
we've been visited according to the
you
cards.
you did that pretty fast and pretty quick. How long have you been working on tarot cards, Barbara?
It's only been it's been a short time, Tom. It's been about a year, a little
Oh,
bit over a year. I've been kind of like pulling cards on myself and pulling cards on different situations, celebrities and frivolous stuff. But it's
oh,
only been a few months since I've actually been reading other people.
are there any celebrities that you can name who you have read the cards for?
Probably John Travolta. I think I did Jennifer Lopez, and just kind of frivolous.
Wow.
I did cards on Michael Jackson.
No way.
I did cards on Michael Jackson because I wanted to know. I love Michael Jackson. I just wanted to know. There's a lot of celebrities that kind of fake their passing, and I just want to know if he was still on this earth plane.
That's an interesting question, because I know there's a number of people who say he might still be alive. Yeah.
Well, according to the cards, that's what I got. So I don't know. It's for entertainment purposes only, right?
Right. Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
So what would you like? Would you like me to pull cards for you? Or did you have another question to dig deeper into the other question that we have?
Oh,
Do we want to
I,
do?
I I'm really I'd really like to know about that disclosure period. Like if it's going to happen within our lifetime.
Okay, so the question would be, we have to be really specific. The
Okay.
question would be, are we going to have disclosure of
Extraterrestrials.
extraterrestrials within our lifetime? Say that.
Yes.
We're going to have
Yes.
disclosure. Are we going to have disclosure within our lifetime? Extraterrestrials. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, the first card is Empress. The first card represents us and having disclosure. And she's very abundant. She's beautiful. She's very abundant. So that means that's a positive yes card. And that's representing us having disclosure. That's where we're sitting. Now, the second card is going to represent the actual disclosure. Are we going to have the disclosure within our lifetime? So that's going to be the second question. The second question, the second card is a Four of Wands. Can you see that?
Yes.
Those are two people. It almost looks like a marriage. It looks like they're in front of a castle and they're celebrating. This is the Four of Wands. It's like a breakthrough. It's like a positive success card. So it looks like we're going to have disclosure within our lifetime. That's what it looks like. Okay, let's see what the past looked like as far as disclosure. Getting disclosure in our lifetime. The past is the Hangman. Now the Hangman, a lot of people are scared of the Hangman. It's not like somebody killing somebody. It's the Hangman is because if you look at the Hangman, he's hanging upside down. He's like in a yoga position. He has put his position of his legs and he even has a halo around his head. He's like meditating. So he's hanging upside down, but he's being enlightened at the same time. So it's almost like he's waiting for something. He's kind of like, it's like a wait card. And that represents us getting disclosure within our lifetime. We were actually waiting and hoping, kind of meditating on an answer. That's us. Now the present situation would be the next card, the current situation in getting disclosure. Okay, this is the nine of swords. We got that in the other reading too. The Nine of Swords is kind of like, I give up, I give in. It's almost like saying, I surrender to it. So people are kind of like, well, I kind of give up. If it hasn't happened yet, it probably won't happen. So this is the current situation where everybody's kind of feeling. But let's look at the near future. What our near future is, what it's going to be like as far as getting disclosure within our lifetime. Okay, this is the Nine of Wands. Now, the Nine of Wands, you see that man? He's standing there. He's really tired. It's like he can't take anymore. He needs to push through. He needs to push through just a little bit more just to get what he needs to. Oh, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, is he holding a staff? He's leaning on a staff?
Yeah, it's a wand.
1, 2, 3, 4.
9.
9. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's Nine of Wands. So this card basically represents a person that's kind of like at their wit's end. They can't take anymore. They have to push through to kind of get what they want. And right after 9 comes the 10. And then after the 10, everything starts all over again. So it's almost like we're almost at that point where we're going to get that disclosure. So this is the most important, this is the outcome, let's say, the near future. I'm going to pull a couple more just to kind of get clearance on it. Okay, these two cards make me feel that we're actually talking about it in a more decisive way, because this here is the Judgment card. You see that angel up in the sky blowing the horn and waking up the dead? This is a card. This is a wake up card. It's like wake up to this, because it's aspected by this card. So wake up to this, and this means this is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords, he kind of talks about things a little bit. He's kind of like at the beginning of swords represent air and words. And he's just a page. So he's kind of like young. He's not really talking about it. He's talking about things like, but in regarding this situation, that means like we're kind of like starting to talk about it more than we used to. And this says, wake up, we're starting to talk about it. And let me just pull a couple more. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles and the Star. The King of Pentacles and the Star. King of Pentacles is very generous. He always brings riches to us and brings prosperity to us. And look what this is, the star. This kind of reminds me of someone off world. Can you see that?
Yeah. Hey, that's interesting.
So that
Wow.
kind of reminds me of an extraterrestrial.
Wow.
So it almost is like, yes, extraterrestrials do exist. Extraterrestrials will be presenting themselves in a strong way. So this reading kind of shows me that we're gonna have a disclosure according to the cards, and this is for entertainment purposes only. According to the cards, we will have disclosure within our lifetime, because we're almost at the end. We're almost there. Number 9, after that comes number 10. We're almost there. This is a positive card too, as well. The breakthrough, that something's successfully happening, and it pertaining to our question. This is the wake up card, man. It says, wake up, wake up. It's going to be happening. It's going to be in abundance. You're going to, I know you've been waiting for it, but it's going to be super abundance, and you're going to see your off world person, which is the star man, or the star. There you go.
The
That's what I
star.
get.
Yeah.
How about that, Tom? So
That is
we're going to get some disclosure, huh?
That is an amazing reading. Wow, you do that pretty fast and quick. That is an amazing means of divination, I think.
Yeah, I have a good teacher.
Oh, who's your teacher?
My teacher is well, unfortunately, she's not on YouTube any longer, because they won't let her get back on YouTube. But
Unplugged.
She had a channel called Terra by Janine. Her name is Janine Morageau. She's out of Canada, and I guess she was flying over the target too much with the cards, and she's got taken off of the YouTube. So she has a private website right now that everybody can go to, and I have to shout her out, because that's where I learned with Terra by Janine, her courses. Everybody go to terrabyjanine.com. She's my teacher. So if you want the real deal, that's Terra by Janine. So thank you, Janine. If you're listening out there, thank you for teaching me.
Yeah,
Raven.
that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never tried tarot before, but I've read about it. See, the story was that it began as a book. Originally, before we had the tarot cards, there was a book, and it was a book of images that was meant to pass on the teachings from Hermes, or I guess in Egypt they called him Thoth, but
Yes.
the ancient teachings from Hermes. And the first tarot card that I remember being presented was called the Magician, and it's a pretty interesting the old card. I'm referring to the works of Franz Barden, I think was his name, and say again.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, Franz Barden, and he had shown the first tarot card in his book of the basic occult teachings from Hermes. Pretty interesting that it actually used to be a book. I mean, I never would have even thought of it. I just always associated the cards. But it started as a book, and it was meant to, when we're working with images, it teaches us to be more intuitive about the knowledge and to absorb it in a way that I think otherwise we couldn't if we were just thinking intellectually, like reading from a book. The images sort of have an important role to play in that teaching process, where the student really absorbs and hopefully has an experience, because the ultimate goal, of course, is wisdom at length, and wisdom can't really be taught. It has to be experienced.
Yeah. I agree. And speaking of Thoth, my teacher, Janine, I believe her first cards that she learned she learned tarot with were the cards of Thoth.
Mm.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm mistaken, you can slap me on my hand, Janine. But I believe she learned with Thoth, and they're a little complicated to learn from. But the Rider-Waite, which are these cards here, the Rider-Waite are basically the real first dealio. And they're easier for me. And I love the graphics. The graphics were done, I believe, 300 or 400 years ago. I mean, but they have newer cards these days. They have cards with modern day images and fun stuff. And
I'd like to try making some cards myself.
oh, well, that's interesting. I would definitely buy them and use them.
Oh, it'd be fun. I would have to find out how to do each. I guess it would really help if I studied all the cards myself first. But yeah, a lot of people are doing it. I don't know if you're familiar with like Donald Tyson. He's got his own cards. You ever heard of him?
I've never heard of him before. But if you need any type of insight, I mean, I'd be glad to help you with that. I mean, that would be a nice, what would be your design? I mean, just off the top of your head, what would be your design of the card on the back?
Oh, I would, me, I would have to put that logo on there. I've got to have that, the V logo.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
It's cool. It's like that superhero logo. I love it. That's wonderful.
Hey, I
I
love
don't
the
know.
idea. That's a project. That's a project that can be done. Let's do
I
it.
mean, we did like some illustrations. Like we have one called, we did a comic strip called Namaste. I don't know if you ever saw that one that I put out, Namaste.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's got like that Vrilock character. He's got the three faces, and he looks like Brahmin. And yeah, and it was about during the time when we were having like the scare about North Korea or something, and all these different events going on, and you said I'm really confused. But I thought of like doing some cards like that with like some illustrations with our characters.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
The little bit of insight that I do know, I mean, like I say, I'm learning how to use my insight, because sometimes, reading the cards, it's not necessarily looking at the card and just knowing what the meaning is. There's several ways that you can read the cards. You can go by an instinct. I mean, you can throw the cards down and you can see the image on the card and you can know the meaning of the card. But then there's some type of download from spirit, or download from the ether, or download from the universe, or download from God, or whatever. Everybody calls it different things. But you get a download and it's like an intuitive reading. And some readers literally go by each card. So I'm kind of like the way my teacher is, the way Janine is, and she's kind of like a mix, I believe, reading the cards and getting an intuitive message. So, but if you need any help with that, you just let me know. That's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It's something I think people would really go for it. People love like just even collecting decks of tarot cards. There's a few that I've been planning to buy myself. Like I was mentioning Tyson's cards, those just for fun, just for the fantasy alone. Tyson did some cards on the Necronomicon and some H.P. Lovecraft cards and things like that. So I was planning on eventually collecting some. If you do some cards that are like Barbara cards, then I'll buy them.
I'd have to do something like, hey, Jazzy Tarot, or something like that.
You could probably do that. 9 of saxophones. I don't know. 9 of clarinets. I think clarinets would be more resemblant of wands.
Yeah, I would instead of the wands, I would make microphones out of the wands. Like, for example, I showed you the 9 of wands. You see, all of these would be microphones. This guy would be holding the wrong microphone. How about that? Oh yeah, a lot of different people are making different types of tarot cards. This fun stuff, and it's less intimidating for people that think that tarot is, evil and scary and spooky. And I think we've been taught certain things are scary and spooky, kind of like to keep us away from it. I just look at it as a tool to use for your intuition, to connect with your higher self, to connect with with your God, to connect with God, to connect with spirit. And but it's not about the cards, it's about us. It's about us. So this is just a tool. So there's no need to be afraid of it. And many women back in the day were using tarot cards to help guide people and give insight and maybe some spiritual guidance. And they use different types of herbs and help other women have babies. And women were very, very powerful and very strong back in the day. So, it's about that time. About that
Yeah,
time now.
that's absolutely true. There are parts of history that were rewritten or wrote over. As the old saying goes, history is written by. What was that saying that it's written by the victors or the winners of battles? They rewrite history, basically.
Yes.
I forget
Yeah.
what that old saying is.
Yeah. I think they
think
said that if you did win, you would write the story. If you lost, you didn't write the story. So whatever history is whoever won whatever battle that was going on at the time. But I mean, that's, basically that's what they said. That's not the word for word, but I know I heard what you were. I heard that.
Yeah, because what was it? I was thinking that back. I'm always thinking about the northern lore because I've been studying that for some years about
Mhm.
Norse lore, and that's definitely true. That I think what happened is, you're familiar with like the runes is another form of divination, right? Like I got a bag of runes right here, similar to like tarot, and it was also made into a writing system during the medieval times and so on. But prior to that, it was. Let me gather my thoughts here. What I'm trying to say is the history of runes has been kind of rewritten, and a lot of it was lost. Like they had the libraries of Alexandria burned down. If you look over in like Ukraine today, they have there's a city, I forget the name of the city, but it might have been like an Uralian city that's made out. The ruins are made out of these circular structures that look very similar to the description Plato gave for Atlantis, which is very, very interesting because some authorities believe that Atlantis may have actually been not off the coast somewhere, but it might have actually been based on the story of where the Black Sea is today, and that civilization had disappeared during the floods. You've heard about the floods of Noah,
Oh yeah.
and the earth has been flooded maybe I don't know how many times. Some people say several times. But yeah, there's been civilizations that have disappeared, and the runes definitely when the monotheisms took over the world, which is what happened is I guess kings and monarchs were told they would make more money, have more power if they rewrote history to be on the same page. And at one point, it's believed today that like Odinism, the god Odin from the history of the runes, that he was the king of the gods. But in actuality, there was a lot of goddess worship back then. So it's
About that.
yeah, you would. And then of course there's others who say that there was a lot of equal distribution of knowledge at that time.
Now, Tom, if I can
Ancient,
stop you there,
yeah.
when you say runes, what exactly is runes? Because I saw that on your website before. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, they're basically they're staves. Another word for it is glyph, which is just basically an agreed upon symbol. Like for example, our alphabet, the English alphabet, are basically their glyphs. Like, let's see if I can pick one that's kind of familiar to most people. Do you know the logo for Bluetooth?
Yeah.
That's a bind rune. That's the combination of runes. They look like these. Let's hold that up to the camera
Oh, okay.
and see that. Like we
Looks
got
like a
so we
lightning
live
bolt
the
almost.
lightning bolt. That's what it is, and it's basically a glyph for revelation. Then we have like runes like this, like Kinaz, that means torch. It's also
Oh,
representative of Prometheus. Um, which
wow.
there are many other names, like the Greeks had similar names and gods that the Norse had, or I think they probably just shared the same gods but by different names, you know.
So basically, they're symbols. Runes are symbols
Yeah,
with meanings.
they are. Yeah, just like the tarot cards are symbolic with meanings.
Yeah.
The runes are similar.
Well, how
In
about that?
Yeah, in fact, just about everything we do with all of the, of course, that I've studied over the psychotronics and the various dowsing systems. They're all tied into basically divination and dowsing. I mean,
That's
that's how
awesome.
it began, for
That's
lack of
awesome.
better.
That's awesome. Listen, Tom, I have to go, but do
Yeah,
you have any other questions that you want to add? I'd like to do this again sometimes.
I know, and definitely we should connect again. Uh, and Yeah, I was just going to basically ask, do you have a website, or is there a place where people can go and learn more about your tarot and about your music?
Okay. With about my tarot, they can go to my YouTube channel, which
Okay.
I just changed the name again today
Oh, you did?
because it's new and it's going through. It's developing. So today, my website is called Beyond the Tarot with Barbara.
Gotcha. What? That's not so. What? Okay, it's your thing. I gotcha. I'll just.
Beyond the Tarot with Barbara. First, it was Beyond the Tarot, and people started asking me, so yeah, okay, so what's your name? I mean, you know how people are really uh kind
You
of
got to
forceful when
spell it
you
out.
first get
You
on
have
YouTube.
to
I feel like,
spell it
oh
out.
my God, what did I do? Why did I create a channel? But yeah, people are, you get positive criticism, and they well, what's your name? You know what? So I put uh, Beyond the Tarot with Barbara. So that's what it is. Everybody go to Beyond the Tarot with Barbara. It's a little hard to find on YouTube right now because it's not up in the channels.
I
But
know
I
it.
can put the link. We can put a link under this video. I mean,
Yeah, I absolutely. I'll put that link up on this video here. Yeah, I did some keyword searching as well, and it takes a little while for the keywording and all of that. But if we distribute it, it will be heard, it will be seen. Lots of people will see your channel, so no worries there.
listen,
But
I can just describe it. If any of this resonates with you all out there and in YouTube land, like it, subscribe, comment. Let's become part of the tribe.
join us or die.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I want that.
No, I'd have to do the
But
masks.
yeah, so listen, do you want me to pull any cards for before we leave, or you want to save it for next time?
I want to save it for next time. But also, Barbara, before we go, are you still performing as a jazz singer, and are you selling your music at all? I
I'm
think I
not
saw you on
someone.
I think I saw you on Apple Music, where you had one album on Apple Music.
Oh, was that me? I don't think I was. I
That's
still
not
do
you?
perform. I
Okay.
perform at weddings. I perform at bar mitzvahs. I perform, and I don't just do jazz music. I do jazz music. I do pop music. I sing everything from Sade to Beyonce to Adele to Aretha Franklin. I sing Motown, disco. We do it all. I sing with my fiance. He plays the piano, and and we travel. We go to Europe, but mostly we're in the United States. And I do have a website, but it's not a website it's like more like a service website. So I'd rather for everybody to go to my tarot channel. And if you want to hear me sing, I'll sing something on my channel, on my tarot channel.
Oh, that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Maybe
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
sing something. Maybe I'll
Oh,
sing
go
something next video. If we do another video, I'll sing something on next video, but not now because I don't want to give too much away at the first video. Know how that is.
No problem. Okay, so we'll hook up again and do another show. Barbara, this was great. Thank you for joining me and doing this film with me today. And hey, you know what? If your fiance wants to be on, ask him and ask him to consider.
He's a little shy, and he's a little shy when it comes to these things. But I'll have a little talk with him. You know, a little bit at a time. Some people need to be stewed. You know, stew them up.
We'll be expecting him.
I will be waiting.
I know I have to do that.
Your little dog too. Tom,
it works.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for this opportunity. And do you think I can put this video on my YouTube channel as well?
Yes, you can. And then get back in touch with me later if you want me to do the editing for you on your behalf. That's absolutely fine. I can do it. Or if you just want to run it, that's fine too.
We'll see. I'll take a look at it and then we'll decide. Okay.
Well, you take care and talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much and arrivederci.
Bye-bye.
Take care.